What's up YouTube, Capital G here, making a quick ban list video, and this is not going to be another rant video. It's not going to be another complaining video. Why don't we have a ban list, Konami? God damn it. It's been 72 hours since I made my last video. You guys could have made a ban list by then. No, it's not going to be anything like that. In fact, this is going to be a potential solution to the problem that we have right now, and I don't think it's going to be very popular, so I'm going to just let you guys know that at the beginning of the video, and it's because this idea, this concept is so far outside the box. It's so crazy, and it's not even actually my idea. Somebody left this on one of my videos. They commented it, and at first I read it and I was like, no, this is too dumb. This is no, we can't do this, we can't have this. But then I actually started thinking about it more and more, and I was like, this is actually crazy enough to work. Now, the probability of Konami doing something like this, I will just say, is probably less than, I don't know, maybe 1% or something like that. But this is essentially advocating pure anarchy and chaos in the format, guys. Before we get the new overhaul of new rules and regulations, and before we get the new link summon mechanic, and before Konami essentially, you know, hard resets the game, I think that they should essentially just create a little bit of chaos. Now, one thing you guys have to understand is Konami has said in the past that at one point, every single card that has been banned will come off the ban list in some way or some form. And I think that's honestly why they errated Chaos Emperor Dragon in the OCG, is to kind of just stick to that. I think it might have actually been Takahashi that said that, or somebody said that. They were like, yeah, at some point, every single card will come off the ban list at least once. So yeah, they do have to find ways of getting shit like Chaos Emperor Dragon off the ban list if they're going to stick to that promise. And the concept of this, you guys are probably like, what are you talking about exactly, Cap? Okay, the concept of this is basically, I don't want to say not having a ban list for 6 months, but basically taking all of these cards that are on the ban list, maybe about 90% of them, and just like taking them off, you know, just having complete and utter chaos, taking a lot of cards that are at limited status, putting them at 3, taking a lot of the ban cards, putting them at 1 or at 3, and then just having kind of a huge fucking broken smorgasbord. I kind of feel like right now, players think that the game is checking itself because they're like, oh, all of these little mini formats are creating themselves. And I'm like, that's not really the game checking itself. That's just power creep happening really, really fast. You look at a deck like ABC, you know, it comes out in November and it's like the fucking biggest, baddest block on the, it's the biggest, baddest deck on the block. And we have to main deck all these answers for it. And it still ends up winning a YCS. And then 3 months later, it's like, it fucking can't even top an event because there's a new bigger bully on the block. And it's like, wow, you got power creeped in less than 3 months. This essentially would be that. It would be releasing almost every great archetype that you guys could think of that is still pretty fucked by the ban list, and just putting them all at full power and then just letting them go after each other. And you'd have incredibly broken decks like full power Necros, but they'd have to go up against, you know, triple Gateway 6 Samurai, or you'd have like full power Monarchs with your triple Aether and your triple Pantheism that makes your deck super fast, and your, you know, 3 copies of Stormforth. But then you'd have to face down the fucking Dragon Rulers with all of their cards unlimited, when they have Dimension Fusion and fucking Future Fusion, which actually, now that I'm looking at this, Dragon Rulers would probably be the strongest. Could you imagine Dragon Rulers with Future Fusion and Dimension Fusion? Like, they get to throw 5 dragons in the graveyard instantly, and then they can just banish their shit and then summon it back from Dimension. That would be, oh my god, that would be so broken. Or you guys could have like full power Infernity versus, like, you know, full power windups with the Shock Loop and triples and Mighty. Maybe not Hunter, because then you just have the wind up loop, but you know, triples and Mighty. Bring back Performages and Pals, and have triple Ignister and Damage Juggler and what's the other one, Plush Fire, and have all those cards. And it does sound like it would absolutely create a broken format. But not only would it be fun, sometimes, guys, chaos is actually a lot of fun. I talk about this a lot. Even though the March 2012 ban list was probably the most corrupt and worst ever, that format that came after it was actually so, if you take away the wind up loop because of like double torrential tribute, like that format was so fucking fun. I can't really explain it because I'll spend too much time on that format, but it was actually incredibly fun. Like, sometimes having a lot of broken stuff actually ends up making the game fun. You could play full power Airblade Turbo and run it into, like, you know, triple construct with super polymerization like Shadows, and it would just be incredible. And there are a couple of things that this would accomplish. Number one, it would actually allow players who are newer to the game or who didn't experience these decks at full power, it would actually allow them to, in a little time frame, actually be able to play these decks. Like, I mean, how many of you guys have actually ever seen triple launcher Infernity? Like, that hasn't been a thing since like 2000, maybe 2010, 2011-ish. Like, it's been a long time. Like, how many people actually saw like Diamond Do Turbo with triple Stratos? Like, that's not been a thing since like 2007-ish. You know what I mean? Like, so many of these decks haven't been at full power for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years that players have no idea how they even function. So I think it would be really cool to have so many incredible decks all viable at one point. And the second thing is, we would already go into this knowing that it's only going to exist in this 6-month vacuum. So if you just absolutely hated it, if you hated the concept of this, if you thought, no, this is too unfair, it's too broken, I ran into full power Necros and got absolutely wrecked, you wouldn't have to wait but just 6 months, and then they would pretty much restore this, because you guys know Konami's probably going to drop a new ban list right before Code of the Duelist comes out. They're going to try and clean up as much as possible so that they can kind of hard reset the game and just make everything all neat and clean at once, and it would just kind of make sense. And this is the best time that I can actually think of something like this working, because I've never seen a point where Konami's changing so much about the game at one time. When this Code of the Duel stuff drops, it's basically going to be as close to a hard reset on the game as I've ever seen. So it kind of makes sense that right before we have the storm, you know, like this is the calm before the storm. We've got a 6-month period right now that we're kind of not doing anything with, and it's like, why not just have complete anarchy? As much as this sounds like the craziest, dumbest idea, have you guys ever seen Lithium's cross banlist cup? Because essentially this is it. It would just be a cross banlist cup, except everything would happen at one time. Yeah, this would probably, you know, some people would say this would ruin our national season. Yeah, probably, but who the fuck cares? We get a nationals every single year anyways. It's not like, okay, we get one national season ruined because, you know what I mean, full power and Infernity ended up winning it or something like that. But it's not like we're not going to have a nationals, you know, in 2018 and 2019. Like, why not have this in the one perfect moment that it can exist? I think that this would be an awesome idea. I think it'd be a lot of fun. The only thing that I wouldn't want in this format are like some of these cards here at the bottom. Like, I basically wouldn't want any type of like FTKs in the format. You know, like we wouldn't want Match Driver legal, because then you could play like fucking Frog FTK. If you guys remember that from like 2010, oh my god, no more Frog FTK. You know what I mean? Like ban Magical Explosion, like that's essentially an FTK. I wouldn't want cards that reset the game like Fiber Jar and Chaos Emperor Dragon, because the reset buttons on Yu-Gi-Oh is that's just a dumb concept anyways. But I actually think that this would be a lot of fun. It would only exist in a 6-month period, and this is honestly the perfect time to do it. We're never going to have a time that's more perfect to actually implement something like this. So you guys let me know what you think. Again, I don't think that this would be a popular concept, but it essentially is just like, it's essentially just a cross banlist cup, except everything is legal at once. And I don't know what I would, off the top of my head, you know, I never really got to play Necros at full strength, so I think I would rock with Necros. Like, out of all of the great decks that I see up here, I actually would probably pick Necros, because I never got to play like triple Shurit and triple Unicorn, triple Brio, and when the one time that I did start fucking with Necros, it was actually a whole lot of fun. So you guys let me know what you think of this concept. Leave it in the comment section below. Also, if this ever did happen, what deck would you actually play? Please no FTKs. Like Cyberstein and OTK is fine, but don't say, oh Cap, I would play, you know what I mean, like Magical Explosion, because that just makes you a scumbag. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always, and subscribe if you have not already.